Happy Friday. What's going on, y'all?
Well, I just woke up this morning and was thinking about a Pearl Jam song.
Look at that. Did you create it? Did you manifest it? Did you know it was happening? That's the weird shit about life, right? Like when you start getting into setting your goals, right? Did you set it up? Was it already destined? But man, I'm glad it could fulfill your destiny there, James Brown.
I'll tell you why I thought about him. So today's my birthday, and I was thinking about the song Alive. I'm still alive. Still here.
Still here. We all woke up, right? Like amidst all of the political bullshit and things like that. Like we're here, right? We have choices, and that's really all that we can control. But happy birthday, brother. Thank you for sharing this day with us here, man.
Hell yeah. Wouldn't miss it.
Beautiful. Well, that's a great way to start off with the wins. Who has our second win for today, guys? This is your guys' turn.
Okay. I am under contract and got a referral, and I'm showing property today.
Get after it, girl. Natasha's one of our newest members out there in the Arizona market. So welcome to the family. Super excited for what we have coming.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was getting ready to send something out. So I will be out in Arizona next Saturday, the 15th, because my daughter's touring ASU. And so Saturday night, the 15th, I will be posting up somewhere and inviting everybody. I would love to meet you in person.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so put that on your calendar there.
All right, perfect.
Well, that's a great way to start the day. Start your career here with us. Congratulations. Who has the third win for us today, guys?
Hey, Larry, Shamika, she just joined recently. She just got her first listing on the market and all because, she just hit it just last week, got it, and now it's moving right along for her. So she's excited about that. And so good for our team.
That is good for your team. So Ben Herring has a growing team out there in Atlanta. I try everything possible to just give listings to his team members and not him because he bitches a lot. But no, I'm just joking. You're crushing it, man. Keep it up. And there's going to be so much more to come, guys. One of the big wins, I'll share it with you guys. I have not kind of even shared this with the REO Alliance and stuff yet. But Luisa Maya and the entire PEMCO brokerage is now a part of our group officially. Luisa Maya, his daughter Ty, it's just, again, it's taken 4 or 5 years for us to put all of this stuff together. And anytime we're talking to companies and big groups and stuff like that, it takes time. It's not an easy decision, right? We have to add massive amounts of value. And it takes a lot of constant follow-up. But there's a reason that we have over 800 listings assigned to agents within our family and our group right now. It's because we put together all of these resources. And as this market continues to shift, man, it is going to steamroll and stuff there. On a side note here, the 24th and 25th of this month, we have the Velocity Conference, which is in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a spinoff of kind of the 5-Star Conference, which is a huge default conference. Anybody planning on going to that? I had Jared over there, Jennifer, beautiful. Anybody else? Sean, nice, very nice. So here's the thing. A lot of people go because it's a smaller conference, or don't go because it's a smaller conference. I think if you're on the fence, that's the same reason that you should go, because here's the thing, all of the clients are still there, right? All of the asset management companies are going there, they're speaking and stuff like that. You just don't have 3,000 agents that you're competing with for their attention. So this is the time for you to get FaceTime, right? I remember Jeff Russell talking about I think it was NADP in Colorado, in Denver one time. And he was sitting out next to the pool with a president of one of the largest asset management companies, banks. And now, like, coincidentally, he's a preferred agent for theirs. He's doing business. Like, this is where you build those relationships, is you go where your clients are. It's no different, right? Than what we should be doing in our traditional real estate business and stuff as well. So there will be a large representation there. I will be there along with Eric Bangle, Darren Cottrell, Eric Delgado, Luis Amaya is not going, but he's sending Elsie Gomez and a few other representation people from PIMCO and stuff like that. So if you're on the fence, guys, I am a huge advocate, just so you can build rapport, relationship, and you don't have as much competition and stuff there. So that is great. Guys, those of you that are in Southern California, like, man, Joseph Limo and James Cottrell like brought a huge opportunity yesterday. And now this is just in Southern California and stuff for right now, but an abundance of pre-qualified leads. Like, if you did not see that, right? Like, reach out to myself, reach out to Joseph Limo, James Cottrell, so we can get you information. Essentially, and James and Joseph, feel free to jump in and highlight this as well. But we have a Zillow Flex team that is really, like, you don't become a Zillow Flex team because you're average, right? You have systems in place and you can scale. Guys, they are getting over 800 pre-qualified leads a month right now in Southern California. A month. Now, the average price point in Southern California, Jeff Kelly, what, 800,000? Like, at least,
yeah.
Right? Like, I don't care if it's a 50-50 split. Like, if you are not doing the amount of business that you are looking for, like toughen up, guys. Like, this is where you can go do it, or you can partner with people that are better than you at doing it. And, you know, they have an ISA team, they're pre-qualifying. Like, this isn't like you're going through all the processes. You're going out and showing homes, putting people in the car. And so if you are not doing enough business, you should be. There's agents closing 4 and 5 deals a month right now in that group. On their website, in January, their biggest producer was $4 million in escrow just in January. So again, like, set the ego aside, right? If you are not hitting your goal, like Jeff and Kelly signed up, right? Like, Jeff and Kelly, I mean, they're what, 5-6 year icon agents, 5-6 year icon agents in a row. And he's like, damn, what am I doing? Right? Like, it should be a no-brainer.
Sign me up.
What's that?
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Yeah, you get access to the office and stuff like that. Man, the office looks beautiful. Where is their office? Where is their office at, Jeff?
It's up in Temecula, Hills. It's a gorgeous office. But for me, like, having a sign in the yard or helping a buyer, Kelly and I, is much better than not. And you can turn those transactions into your SOI. And guess what? There's no referral fee on that SOI. So you've got to look at the big picture if anybody's contemplating because of that split. I'll do a 50-50 split all day long. In fact, I pay good money for leads where I pay 35-40%. So, I mean, those days are here. So don't be choosy.
And this is the other part. Like, a lot of us here do REO and default. Like, I have one REO client that pays me 3%. It's HUD. That is the only REO client that I have that pays me 3%. Right? And other agents are like, I'm not a discount broker. Guys, we took 46 listings in 2 weeks for one client at 1.25%. They're like, why would you do that? Because it was over $200,000 in GCI in a 2-week period. Right now, I'm getting ready to, I'm very close to striking a deal with a company, and I'm just going to buy the membership for the entire group at this point in time, where it's a concierge service. So think about, you know, if you sold 40-50 REO homes and you represented the seller and all these buyers come in. What if you reached out and said, hey, congratulations on buying one of my listings. You know, for all of our clients that do business with us, we have a concierge service to help you set up your utilities. They have local handyman and stuff in the area, and will like all of these things, right? It's a network that they built. And every time they ask, every time they go to their dashboard, every time they get a contractor, guess whose name's on the bottom of that? Yours. Not the other agent that never talks to them again, right? Now, we should all have our CRMs and databases set up, but like even the top agents, right? Like have a hard time managing that, getting all of that data in, following up with people. This is another source, right, that you guys can do as a constant follow-up. So like for our REO group, guys, this is a must, because this next 4 to 8 years should set up the rest of our lives in real estate if you do this correctly, right? Jared Ruffner, like the amount of business that you've closed in 1 year, right, should all be into your database. And Jared, do you mind like just chat with me for a second? Because you're probably, I mean, I know that you're in the top 5 because I just did the numbers for last year as far as production and stuff like that. Do you follow up with the buyers? Like, do you have all of those people in your database?
After a period of time, some of them go in HomeBot.
Some of them go on HomeBot. Every one of them should go on HomeBot, brother. Like, because the other agent is not going to do their job and follow up. And that way, when they're ready to sell, when they have equity down the road, when they fall into hard times, right, and they need to do a short sale, you want them to come to you, right, and not search for another agent. The odds are that they aren't going to use their agent that helped them buy that home because that agent did not do the right steps. So
If you're going to do a short sale, they should be coming to me anyways.
yes, but they have to know you, right? And that's where like things like this and follow up and connecting with them on social media and HomeBot and this new program that I'm going to get for our entire group literally should set up business. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. You guys will constantly have business coming back through it. Guys, real estate is not hard. It's consistent. It's about doing the right things every single day. And that's what you guys have to get on, right? So let's talk about some things. So talk track for today is all about efficiencies. And like we have some massive groups, some massive teams here. And so I want your guys' feedback. I don't want this to be a lecture type scenario. But first and foremost, for anybody, like this is part of it. You can write it down personally, or you can type it in the chat box and stuff here. How much did you make last year? Right? I don't care what the number is. Again, you feel comfortable sharing it publicly, put it here in the chat box and stuff. But I want you guys to know, and look, we just finished 2024, right? We should all be prepping to do our taxes and stuff right now. How much did you make last year? And now I want you to take that number and I want you to divide it by 2080, 2080. Now put that number in the chat box for me. I need some participation here. Otherwise, my examples don't make any sense. So take what you did last year.
To divide it by 20. To divide it by 2080.
2080. Yep.
Okay.
That is correct. So take last year's income and divide it by 2080. That is the formula. Now, anybody know what 2080 means?
The 40-hour work week.
40-hour work week. So this is your hourly wage if you worked full time. Now, if you didn't work full time in real estate, right? If you were dual career or something like that, right? Cut it in half, right? So this is if you worked 40 hours every single week. Now, as we start to talk about efficiencies, guys, I guarantee you there are a list of things that you guys do every single day that if you were able to outsource, it would drastically change your life. And part of that is because it will free you up to do dollar productive behavior. 80% of your day should be spent on dollar productive behavior. 80%, right? So what is dollar productive behavior? That is prospecting, that is lead follow-up, right? That is writing contracts and closing deals. Those 4 things are your dollar productive behavior. How many of you guys do a lot of other things with 80% of your day? Right? Like one of our top producing agents, like I saw Jared just because he's next to me on my screen and stuff here. One of our top producing agents, right? Like doesn't, like it's not easy, but this is where every single year we got to get stronger and better at building our systems, building our efficiencies. And this is where, again, HomeBot is a great tool that Jared had mentioned. I'm going to roll out another tool here as soon as I finish negotiations and stuff that will be kind of exclusive for our group to help you guys with this, because the more time that we can get you guys back, like, look, I'm totally fine. You got family things, you got work things, you got this and that, like, but 80% of your time should be spent on that dollar productive behavior. Right now, we all work at, like, we work at home offices and things like that, right? How many people like, oh, like, you know, I'm going to take some time, do some laundry. Oh, I gotta clean up the kitchen, right? We distract ourselves, right? And then we're like, damn, I didn't hit my goal last year. It's because we didn't follow the plan that we set up originally. Now, this is where I want some communication and stuff like that. What are some of the most common things that we can outsource? This is the interactive part where we talk to each other.
Well, I am
Everything
bad.
under your dollars per hour.
Expand on that, Jeff. What do you mean by that?
Well, anything, if you're $100 an hour and you have a $20 an hour task, you should not be doing it.
Mm-hmm. So what are some examples? So I see Natasha has transaction coordinating. Absolutely.
100%.
Right? Absolutely, transaction coordinating. Calls, that depends, right? Like calls, like, are the people that you're outsourcing better than you at making calls? Look, if you're not making calls at all, yes, outsourcing calls is a great alternative. But I can tell you, it would be hard for me to outsource phone calls because there's not a VA or a call center that is going to be as good as scripts and stuff as me. That would be dollar productive time for me, is being on the calls every single day. So that depends, Monica, on your skill set and where you are in your career at this point, right? Like Jeff is like, nope, calls are on me, right? Because I don't want my business in the hands of somebody else that may not be as strong as me at that task. So we have transaction coordinating, you know, some people are saying calls. What are some other things that you can outsource?
I would say right now, showing property might be something.
Property. Yeah, there's some apps out right now where you can get showing agents and stuff like that. Absolutely. And what does J-Rod, what does a showing agent cost you? What area are you in, and what does that cost you in your area?
Well, I was thinking for the higher producing agents that, you know, have a team or whatnot, you know, can have one of their team members, you know, take the buyers out.
Absolutely. You can start a buyer's team, right? Like if you're generating a lot of this business and you don't have time and leads are slipping through the cracks, like look, splitting that commission with somebody else is going to be 10 times better than where you're at right now. Home inspections, I see data input. You know, I'm helping Robert Whitehill and Kelly with some Eventbrites and stuff like that, right? Because I have a lot of those systems and stuff set up, and having you know, my VA help them with how we market and advertise our events and stuff like that. Getting HOA docs and preparing docs, getting legal descriptions, right? Like that is, I can tell you what, like I've been partnering with Brian Flatley in Arizona, and our transaction coordinator that we use in Arizona may be the best transaction coordinator I've had in my 17 years of real estate. Like an absolute game changer of reaching out to all parties, telling me when the due diligence is coming up, prepping for closing docs and stuff like that. That saves you a lot of time. And she keeps me in the loop every step of the way. It's a game changer. Now, let me tell you about some things that I think you guys are sleeping on or looking over, right? Don't just think about this from a business perspective, right? Marketing could be, I saw social media and stuff on there. Yes, I outsource literally all of that, right? Like we've had Bridget Romo on here with socially branded media. You know, she has been my social manager, social media marketer and manager for 4 or 5 years now. And stuff like that helps me drive traffic and stuff like that. Yes, absolutely. But think about this. How many of you guys mow your own lawn? Angela Filkins, you mow your own lawn? Now, here's the thing. Do you love it?
I actually do. I've got this really boss lawnmower and I can just slip on my headphones and veg out for a little while. Not in Florida,
Cool.
I don't, but in Washington, I do.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you love it, right, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I do not like lawn work, right? People are like, oh, you're so lazy. I'm not lazy. Dude, my crew comes here every single Wednesday, and they're in and out because there's 3 of them in 15 minutes, right? And my yard looks pristine like every single week. I pay them $35 per cut here. Do you know how much time that would take me? That would be the most expensive landscaping service that I've ever seen if I was out there. Now, if you love it, right, that's totally different, right? If it's your escape, if it's your release, look, you have my blessing. You don't need my blessing, but you have it. Like, do whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. But like I was sitting down, I had the opportunity to sit down with Leo Pareja actually this week. He was here in Houston. The Black EXP Network was here. The president, Rachel Allen, is one of my frontline agents and stuff, and she just rocks it, right? And so she did this event with about 150 people here. Leo Pareja came and spoke, and him and I were kind of talking about this, right? Like house cleaning. Like, guys, I outsource everything that I can because I'm like, well, damn, how much is that going to cost me to do this? Right? And where can I better spend my time? Because I don't want to work 12 hours a day. That is not what I personally want to do. I have a set amount of time every single day, but that should only be dollar productive behavior. I am just on the phone all day long, right? And like you ask my kids, they're like, you know, what's your daddy do? And he's like, he talks to people all day long. He yells in his office and walks around in circles, right? Like that is what I'm doing all day long because that is the highest and best use of my time, is figuring out the problems in other people's business and then figuring out the solution for them. So if you're cleaning your house and you hate it, right? Like how long does it take you to do that? Is there somebody else that could do that faster, better, right? Like, I don't know, every area is going to have some different price points and stuff. I pay $100 a week, you know, to have my house clean, right? Our crew comes in every Thursday, every Friday, we put all of our laundry and stuff in a bag, and Saturday it comes back pressed, folded, and ready to go. because me just switching it out and folding it and doing this, guys, there's no way that I could touch it for that. Now, if you can take that time in your personal life, where can you fill that back up? Because if you go and watch Netflix, if you're on social media, like now you're just losing money at that point in time. So the key is to take some of this stuff, free up some time so that you can spend time on that dollar productive behavior. That is absolutely huge. Does that make sense, guys? And so you guys have to
100%.
sit down and think about like all of the things that you guys are doing. And again, if you love it, like continue to do it, right? Like I don't need to tell you what's right or wrong or anything like that. But if you're not hitting your goal, if you're not doing the production, your sole focus should be to add value to people, collect their contact information, and get them into some sort of a follow-up system every single day. When we build your business plan, that's the first thing that we talk about is what is your number of contacts? All of you guys on this phone that have been through that, you know how many people you need to contact each day, each week, each month. Now, the second part of your business plan should be, what are the 3 or 4 pillars that you're going to use to do that? Are you going to do an open house? Are you prospecting like Jeff every single morning? Like Robert every single morning? Are you doing webinars? Are you doing in-person events? Are you volunteering at your kid's PTA? Right? Like my wife is a gangster, right? Like she is on the PTA board, right? She is one of the directors for our swim league. You know why? Because she gets a list of every parent on the swim team. So there's 180 kids in our neighborhood, right, that are on this swim team. She gets every parent and all of their contact information. And guess who goes into her database to be starting to follow up with? There's no right or wrong way to make contacts and add value to people. The key is that you guys are doing it every single day. And so if you're filled up with cleaning a house or doing this or doing that, again, like sometimes we need it. Sometimes we don't have the budget for that, and that's fine, right? It depends where you're at in your business. But I'm telling you, like, if you're not doing the amount of business, like some people like, I can't afford it. And I would come back to them and say, I don't think you can afford not to. Right? Because those are the things that will free up your time. And then you have to replace it with more dollar productive behavior. And it's really easy to get stuck in these other ruts and stuff like that. Let's see some of the comments here. When possible, can we discuss Zillow leads and experience of someone that's been getting those? Robbie, expand on that. What do you, yes, we can talk about that, brother. What do you want to get across and accomplish here?
Yeah, so somebody reached out to me, one of the other EXP agents. They have a team, I believe in South. So he's mentioning that, hey, I'll give you all the Zillow leads with the 50% split. A very hard pill to swallow, but again, if the volume is there, then definitely probably it makes sense, as everybody was talking about in the beginning. But just want to understand if somebody has been working with Zillow leads and how their experience is.
So James, Joseph, I mean, we're working with one of the biggest Zillow Flex teams in Southern California right now, just on Zillow leads. I don't think Zillow leads are good or bad. It's your follow-up system and stuff that you have in place. How fast that speed to lead and adding massive value to them would be my opinion of it. But James, Joseph, you got, or anybody else like working with Zillow leads not on a flex type thing, and what's your experience been?
So the way I look at it is, you know, you got to generate a lead, right? A lot of people and agents spend tons and tons of time figuring out lead generation, spending money on Google ads and pay-per-click and, you know, Facebook. This eliminates all that. You have the opportunities right in front of you. So you don't have to invest any money up front to get the opportunities. So, and as Jeff mentioned, build your book of business. Do this for a couple years, and you'll have a book of business that will provide referrals, and you'll have a solid SOI to generate business that you can, get the full split on. But I just think it's a solid way for you not to have to invest or spend the time to figure out how to lead generate yourself, and you get opportunities right off the bat.
So are you talking about like buying a zip code or something like that, Robbie? Is that what you're talking about on your side?
Yeah, so that's what he's referring that. Hey, give me 10 zip codes that you want to farm, and then I'll keep giving you leads. I mean, yes, that's the plan. That's what he's suggesting. It's just that the split and the amount of work, and then he's going to take split out of my own leads as well, 90-10. So that's where the question comes is, unless until the volume is there, people have been working. Yes, you are sitting there, the leads keeps coming in, but how authentic are these leads? They keep saying, yes, the leads are going to be authentic. All you have to do is follow up, right? But then if somebody has worked through these, then that's kind of experience that I was looking for. If somebody can share this, yes, I have been doing this. Out of 10 leads, we get 3 of them right into contract, right? So that's kind of information that I'm looking for, or experience that I was looking for.
Hey, Robbie, this is Trina.
Hey,
So
Trina.
I've been working the Zillow leads for a few months. I have my 3rd one under contract. The first one we got under in escrow after saying just 2 properties. So it can be quick, but then there are other leads that you just have to work.
Okay, no, thank you, Trina.
And hey, Robbie, it's Joseph. So here's the situation that I've experienced. Like here in Southern California, we are working with one of the most successful teams down here that run Zillow leads and other lead sources. And they have full-time staff calling on these opportunities 7 days a week. So it really does depend on who you're getting this business from in terms of what back end they're providing. Because if you're paying 50-50, like that's what happens with the Warburton team down here. That's the team I'm referencing. If they're going to put in that level of effort and just send you on appointments, I think 50-50 is a slamming deal. But if they're just going to send you a ton of leads for you to follow up with, you just have to make sure you're clear on what it looks like to actually put in the effort to convert those people, because it's a lot of work. Obviously, we know that the fortune is in the follow-up. So I would just say maybe investigate that team to understand what they're bringing to the table, and maybe even reach out to the Warburton team so you can understand their back-end operations as an example.
I know. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and go ahead. I was going to say also, it also has to align with your business plan as well, Robbie, right? Like there's no shortage of leads and stuff that are out there. Like, are you reaching out to your center of influence? Are you making your contacts on a daily basis? Are you out of lead sources and stuff at this point in time? But Zillow can be a great opportunity. It reminds me, people thought he was crazy. I was coaching an agent in Chicago, downtown Chicago. He was spending, oh my gosh, what was he spending? I think $38,000 a month on Zillow. $38,000 a month. People were like, he's out of his mind. Like, why would you ever do that? Because he didn't prospect, he didn't cold call, he didn't do open houses. He put it all into Zillow, and he made over $800,000 in GCI for 3 years in a row. This is where you also have to track and measure your numbers to figure out if what you're doing is getting you the results that you're looking for. So any of these can be good, can be bad, right? Like if you go on to EXP Solutions, right? Like we have partnerships with realty.com. There's a number of different lead generation companies, homes.com, realty.com. I'm just looking at them now, right? Like, are they more cost effective? Are they better? I don't know. Right. But here's the thing, Robbie, in your area, it doesn't take many. Your price point is astronomical, right? If somebody's talking about pre-qualifying leads and passing them on to you and doing this and that, like I would think about it seriously, because I know that you're dual career and stuff as well. So if that helps you get through your number of contacts, then it could make a lot of sense for somebody like yourself.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have here? Any other things on like efficiency? Any other things that you guys can think of? Like one of the biggest parts for me when we're talking about real estate is that transaction coordinator, right? Because one of the most common cycles for real estate agents is that you'll do all of the right things to generate business, then you'll get a couple of deals in escrow, and then it's about, oh, I got to make sure this deal closes and this and that. Like I see agents managing a transaction like almost 6 hours a day. I'm like, what are you managing, right? Like there's only so much that you can do, right? Like you don't control the loan, you don't control this, you don't control that. Like, and I think we make ourselves really busy and stuff here, but this is where like that transaction coordinator is a must. And Ranti, I know that you asked for somebody up there. This is where I would ask this and maybe the Alliance on Workplace, or even go to the Maryland, Virginia, like that Tri-City group that's on Workplace, and ask for some recommendations and stuff from other people. And then like when you get recommendations, I would ask those people, how many deals have you done with them? Right? Like you just don't want to name, you want somebody that's doing some business and has some production and stuff as well. So that way they can vouch for it. So ask agents, ask vendors, ask your title reps and stuff like that for recommendations, guys, on different resources and stuff that are out there. Yes, ma'am. Anything else, guys?
Larry, one thing that I've always loved about you is you've always known how to play a big game and not play small. Can you talk to us about that? Because that's one thing that I would really love to aspire in terms of like how you grow, is to know how to see a situation and know if it's a big game or a small game.
Oh, that's a kind of a loaded question, right? And so a big part of that is following the plan that you set up. Like I'm guilty of getting distracted as much as anybody else. I notice because I can see in my numbers, I can see in our agent count and revenue share and personal production and business and stuff like that, when I start to go down a rabbit hole of a distraction, right? And there's a lot of them, right? Like everything sounds good. And I'm in sales. And I'll tell you what, like I'm the easiest person to be sold. Like it doesn't take much to sell me. Like I'm an eternal optimist. And I love to see the fucking brightest side of any scenario that's given to me, right? Now, what I've learned over these years is coming back to my business plan, because my numbers tell me that our business plan is working and it's working really well. Does that align with my business plan? That is the key. Like that is the most efficient thing that I can teach you guys and stuff right now. One, if you don't have a business plan, like I don't know what to tell you, right? Like that's step one. Like if you don't know where you're going, it's really hard to get there. This is why for 16 years in real estate, I've built a business plan every single year. And I have a framework of what I'm going to do to get to that next level. And every year has grown. The second part is I fucking dream really big, right? Like big. Some people are talking about like, I want to close a deal a month. I'm like, shit, I want to close a deal a day, but I don't even want to live in the state that I'm doing it. Right? How do I do things like that? How do I generate this? Right? And that's not a quick fix. And most people don't have the tenacity to see their plan all the way through. We overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. Right? Like people will come in and like when I was coaching for Tom Ferry, right? And these cloud brokerages were popping up. Like, I want you to help me get to 1,000 agents. Well, how many agents do you have now? None, but I want to start. I'll do anything that it takes. And like, I know it's bullshit from the start, right? Okay. So like, let's get on the phone. Like, and like, if you can't reach out and contact people every single day, this is where, again, following the plan and realizing that it takes time for it to develop. Like we've talked about this, guys, like I do not have the easy button for you. This group that we've put together is as easy as I can make it. And like I'm looking at like some of the agents and the amount of business that you guys have got on here. I can't make it any easier. It's your job to leverage that shit and build something that will sustain whether your market cycle goes up or down. This is a head start, right? I can move the starting line for you so that you have a competitive advantage. It's your production and what you do with that business that's going to set you up for the long term of that. And so I don't know if I actually answered your question, Joseph, but like I dream really big and I have a strategic plan in place and what that's going to take. Right? Like if you look at our group 4 years ago, it was a great group, right? And now it started right with a dream. People thought I was crazy that we were going to get asset management companies to shut down their brokerage and join with us. Do you know how many people thought that I was full of shit? That I would never be able to do that? Fuck them, right? Like, fuck them. I'm going to add so much value to where it is a goddamn disservice for you not to do business with me. Your brokerage isn't going, join me. Like, let's see. If I haven't hit these goals in a year, leave, right? You can still start your own brokerage and stuff like that. But the results that we've got for these different asset management companies on top of what they're doing has been a game changer. But it was not easy, right? I was just on a call with Eric Delgado, who's the first asset management company that came on board, because when I left Carrington, they flew me out to Bethesda, Maryland to sit down in their corporate office, the longest table I've ever seen in my life. It is like a 28-foot table. And there was 3 of us sitting around it, right? Me and 2 of the partners and stuff there, right? And they wanted me to run their brokerage. I was early in the EXP. I should not, I'll be fully transparent, I should not have introduced EXP during that meeting. I tried to flip them. They wanted me to run their company. I was like, guys, why don't we just join EXP and do this? They were like, get out. Eric Delgado did not talk to me for 2 years. I could go back through and show you text messages because Eric Delgado is a friend of mine. He was a competitor. He was a friend. And I was like, bro, do you not love me anymore? Like, can I just give you a virtual hug, this and that? So one day they were talking about shutting down their brokerage. And he's like, literally, like his words, not mine. He's like, this motherfucker. Like, because I kept following up. I kept like, hey, bro, how's your brokerage growing? Is it growing? Like, this is what we've done. I can do this with you as well. And this and this and this, right? And so that was the start. It was MCM Capital and Templeview, right? And then, right, next on the list, I knew what American Destiny was trying to do with their franchise model and this and that, right? And Jeff also had a relationship. It was like, man, get me back in front of him so we can tell the story of what we've done for MCM Capital and Templeview. And then American Destiny came on board, and then End-to-End Solutions. And now they brought in BSI, and now it's PIMCO, and now it's this, right? I have some big targets for the 3,000 person company that I divorced, for them to be back underneath me. Like, that is the ultimate like win for me. The people were like, we're not a good fit. I want them to work for me. Like, that is my ultimate goal and the end of this game, right? And that's over 1,000 person brokerage. They're not at 3,000 anymore because they let me go. So, I mean, you know, just joking, kind of. But they did lose a lot of agents after Wendy Forsyth and myself and Russ Lagan, who are all here now, right? 2 of those people are executives at this company and stuff like that. So what do you want? Like, if you don't know what you want, it's going to be really hard to get there. And I have some fire behind like that goal and tenacity which is why I have campaigns built out just for villa agents, right? And I'm constantly reaching out to them. Hey, you know, and one of the common themes right now is, look, they overpromise and underdeliver. I was like, what if I flip that? Right? But now they're a little cautious, right? But this is where the diversity and stuff of our group is just something like, yeah, something that I can't match at this point in time. But it's been a fun ride. And guys, what we're building here is for the next 4 to 8 years to set up the rest of our lives, like increase production, decrease costs, and build wealth. And so we have some huge goals, and we have a plan on how to get there. But that plan is constant activity every single day, talking to more people, talking to more leaders, finding more people like yourself that want to be involved with this. So don't even remember what your question was now, because I went off on a tangent and got so heated. Sorry.
I have 2 follow-ups, unless someone else has a question, but here they go. So first and foremost, I would love to know your process to get so crystal clear and close to your vision, your dream, and how you maintain it. Because that's the one thing that I love about you, Larry. That shit is crystal goddamn clear every single day for you, and that's awesome. I want to hear what you're doing to maintain that. And then second, really briefly, like, I know you're on the phone all day, every day. What are like the top 3 phone calls that you're making, like call types? I'm pretty sure I know, but I want to hear it.
What do you mean by call types? What do you mean?
Are they calling agents, broker owners? Are you calling past clients? I'm just curious to know like what your focus is when you're that.
Yeah, so my number one target, and part of it is because we're so heavily invested in the REO and default space, like that is our competitive advantage of what like that's our biggest competitive advantage from what I see, right? And so I try and target agents that have some experience with that, or they want to get into that. We have a unique spot where I can mentor somebody, I can partner somebody with a mentor. We can get somebody into that REO and default space, which is unheard of, right? Like, which is unheard of. And so, especially with what's coming down the pipeline. So, you know, to be able to provide listings to people, to give them a jump start and stuff like that is a huge advantage. And so again, I'm talking to agents every single day. I always bring up the REO default side, the REO listing side of things. You could do the same thing, guys. Like, we have a military network, we have an REO division, we have a relocation division, we have the affinity program. Like, all of these are lead sources that everybody can tap into, right? These are all things like, if you're talking to somebody, it's not like, I have an interview with EXP Corporate later today, and like they're going to ask me like, well, how do you bring up EXP? And I'm like, I don't. EXP is irrelevant unless we can help agents solve their problem. If you don't know what the agent's problem is, it's really hard to solve. You're just guessing at that point in time. So this is about asking questions. You guys should be doing the same thing with your clients, right? I also call asset managers. I have a list of vendors that I follow up with quarterly. And I'm like, hey, do you ever need secondary opinions, secondary evaluations? How can I be of value to you? Oh, by the way, Jeff, did I hear that you have your real estate license? I ask all of my asset managers that. Like, nobody has ever told me that. That is part of my follow-up script. Why? Because I want as many asset managers in our group that have their real estate license. Let me show you what I did for this company with this company. Does that interest you? Right? I'm backdooring I can't say the asset management company. It's out of Georgia. But I'm bringing on, she does business with her cousin. I'm bringing her cousin on today, right? Who's licensed in 5 states, getting business. So I can backdoor myself into that asset management company because I know that she has a license. This is a long-term play, right? So every day is agents, right? And So today I have roughly about 40 contacts. So it's agents that are in our group because there's a retention aspect, making sure that we're delivering on the promises and stuff that we delivered, right? I have monthly follow-ups with people that are like hot prospects and stuff like that. You can see all of these. I have to connect with all of these people on social media. I as in Kathy. So thank you so much for all that you do, Kathy. I think I saw you on the call and stuff here, right? Because I want them to see me. I want them to see our testimonials. I want them, this is the same thing that you guys should be doing with your clients, right? If your clients are looking for a 6-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms, like you wouldn't show them a 3-bed, 2-bath. It doesn't make sense, right? This is where you have to pre-qualify all of these people. And when I talk to people, it's just finding out what their problems are and then how we can solve it at the end of the day. And then it's follow up until I don't want to do business with them anymore or they die. That's it. And so, you know, that's kind of on the follow-up side of things. And then as far as how do I get crystal clear, I work, like I literally meditate, I journal every single day, rewriting, right? So I'm looking at what I'm going to accomplish. I'm seeing what I'm going to accomplish every single day. People can call it woo-woo, people can call it bullshit. Like, which one's working better? Like the way that you're doing it? Or might you be able to do something a little bit differently? I don't have all of the answers, guys, which is why I'm learning every single day. And I'm picking up things and I'm adding, like, this is where it started with a 5-minute meditation. Now I have like a 2-hour morning routine, right? Like now I sit down and meditate for 15, 20 minutes every single day, visualizing goals and things. Like, it doesn't surprise me when the shit happens because I've seen it so many goddamn times already. Like, I expect it to happen because I've played it in my mind so many times. That goes in health, wealth, business, relationships. Just doesn't go for business. Like, I don't want to have this business and a broken family and stuff like that. That doesn't concern me. Does that answer your question, sir?
Tremendously, man. You know what would be amazing on maybe one of your recruiting masterminds? If we could just like see you open up your CRM and start talking through the methodology, and unless you have like a breakdown or a checklist of what you're doing with people, because what you just shared with us in that like 1 minute of sharing your screen, dude, if all of us could replicate that in our business, not necessarily exactly what you do, but replicate it for ourselves in a similar fashion. Yeah, I think we need 400 people on this call and we'd all be super rich.
I mean, here's the thing, like your data, like you should have some sort of a CRM, right? Robert Weichelt says it all the time. CRM, what's the best CRM? The one that you use. This is the one that I use. $29, $39 a month. It's easy, it's simple, it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It gets the job done and it's efficient and it's easy, right? I love KV Core, it does a lot. It's too much for me. Right? Like I go down rabbit holes, I get lost and stuff like that. It's not a good system for me for what I'm looking to do. I just need something simple, easy, where I can type people in, they're up, I can see their notes and stuff like that. I've tried to switch CRMs multiple times and just came back because this one was easy and stuff. So yeah, we can definitely do something just on, you know, CRM and database management and stuff like that for sure. The CRM that I use is called CRM Grow. It's called CRM Grow. And it's just easy. It's not sexy or anything like that. But you know, here's a link for a free trial, like if it's something that you want to use. And the biggest part is where I talk to a lot of agents about building groups and teams and stuff like that. The reason that I do this is because we built an entire community in here. I'll just share this real quick, right? But like I have 81 people. There's somebody that wants to be part of it. But now I can share all of the material that I've created. We can share contacts with each other. So that way you don't have to relay the information. I have, 2 pages worth of follow-up campaigns that you can just copy, replicate, research, duplicate, steal it. I don't care, right? There's all of our templates and stuff like that. So you could build out your entire platform in probably an hour at that point in time. You could tweak them to buyers and sell. Like, I wouldn't use this for real estate business because, excuse me, it's not tied to an MLS. And I think that's one of the big pieces of what your guys' CRM should be doing is, attached to an MLS. So that way you can see what people are looking at and stuff like that. So I wouldn't recommend this for like an average agent that's just focused on production. Team building, right? Growing your group, your organization, like it's the most useful tool that I have. Anything else? And that's all I got for today, guys. I thought it was going to be a short call and I was going to give you guys some time back, but sorry, we filled up the whole hour and stuff there, but love the topic, love the content and stuff. Got some exciting stuff coming up. So one of our most popular calls that we've had, like since I've been doing the mastermind calls, was Trent Stonehouse, who talked about the Google business, like your Google profile and stuff like that. He has a second class that he's going to teach. And so on the 21st, I'm having him back on because so many people loved it. So many people started using like his service and stuff because it was so valuable, right? When we talk about social media and that branding side of things, I think you guys get a free 30-day trial and it was like $200 or $300 a month. And it took over all of that, right? You can create these plans and stuff and they will help you build out your Google profiles and get all of that stuff done. So he will be coming on February 21st. And then on March 7th, Leo Pareja is actually going to be on our call. So those are 2 huge calls that we have coming up. Next week, we'll think of something to talk about if I don't find somebody and stuff to jump on here. In the meantime, I love you guys. I thank you guys. Go out there, crush it this week, and then I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks,
bye-bye.
Great call, Larry. Thanks.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, guys.